Hello and welcome to Sassi Talks. This is the show where we bring you tips for positive lifestyle choices, and after each month of programs we're doing a roundup where we look at what's gone on over the past month and what we've taken away from it. And we've had some amazing guests this past few weeks. We've had the incredible Tanya Diggory, who talked to us about burnout and spotting the signs of burnout. You can watch that episode on our YouTube channel. And then we had the great relationship expert, Dr. Gary Lewandowski from New York, who was talking to us about the blind spots in relationships and how we can fall into these unhealthy patterns. And he was teaching us how we can spot those patterns and try to have more healthier, more fulfilling relationships. And then Janie Goddard, the great Janie Goddard, who talked to us about complementary medicines and also meditation and the benefits and the power that meditation can give you, or the benefits that it can do for all areas of your life. So some really, really great programs. But the thing that sort of stands out for me the most from all of those episodes is the importance of self-care, self-love, and listening to your body. And that phrase, no pain, no gain, really comes to mind at this moment, because quite often we push ourselves beyond our limits and we pay the price for it. And it's not until it's too late that we often realise. So a really key message for me there was to pay attention to your body, but also to pay attention to your inner voice or your intuition, that voice that speaks to you and tells you something. Have you ever found yourself doubting yourself? And I mean doubting yourself to the point that you've completely talked yourself out of something. It can happen in multiple ways. And to me, it's like standing at the crossroads. Have you ever found yourself standing at the crossroads before in any area of your life? I've been there. I'll describe it for you. It's that standing in one place with multiple paths, possible directions that you can go in, some forward, some back, some to the side, and you're standing at these crossroads trying to figure out which is the best path to go down, waiting for some kind of catalyst to propel you in a particular direction. And the more you stand there, the more confused you become, because ultimately you're trying to figure out what the right decision is and are working out, well, if I go down this path, this might happen, and if I go down that path, that might happen, and then there's this path and that path. Can I tell you something that I've realised? That is the fact for me, it's a fact for me anyway, that standing at the crossroads in the centre is one of the most dangerous places you can stand. You have a far greater chance of getting knocked down by standing still than if you're actually moving forward. So that says to me, make a decision. It doesn't matter which path, it doesn't matter if it's the right decision or it's the wrong decision. You'll figure it out as you start making way down a particular track. And another thing is that if you stop on any one of those paths for long enough, you're probably going to get knocked down anyway. So you've got to keep moving. You've just got to keep on moving. Make a decision and put it into motion. And if your gut is telling you to do something or to go down a particular path, go with it. What's the worst that can happen? You figure out that you're on the wrong path and you get off that path and jump onto another path. Yeah, that's what you need to do. But if you just stand there, the problem will just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And you're also there trying to weigh up 101 different potential outcomes for 101 different paths. Well, if you pick one, you've only got one set of potential outcomes to now worry about. That's got to be better than standing at the traffic lights or at the crossroads in your life. It just has to be better. I found myself there, and I tell you something. When we were growing up, there was a greater tendency to listen to our instincts or to follow our gut feeling. But then as we get a bit older, reasoning comes in. Oh no, we shouldn't do this because of this or that, and we're considering a lot of different things and weighing up lots of different options and outcomes. Sometimes you just got to throw yourself into it. I realised this years ago when I went travelling. I knew something was wrong when I arrived in the baggage area at the airport to find 0 suitcases on the conveyor belt. Something wasn't right. I'd been on a plane from London to Mexico, and I'd gotten off the plane. I'm in the baggage reclaim area, no suitcases. Cool, I'll just wait this out. Something was telling me something wasn't right. About 5-10 minutes before that, I was on a plane and I was listening to music. I had my headphones in, and I was looking forward to arriving in Mexico City. I was pretty hasty in my approach because I knew exactly where I was going. I could speak Spanish. I didn't really need to wait for anyone. And it was when I then approached somebody working in the airport and said in my basic Spanish, "Donde está mi maleta?" Where is my suitcase? And they realized that this one clearly isn't from here and can't speak that great Spanish, so let's deal with her. And they told me that I actually wasn't in Mexico City, that this plane had actually landed in Bolivia en route to Mexico City because of a problem on the plane, which I had failed to comprehend as I was getting off the plane. And we were only supposed to be getting off the plane to be counted and checked and get back on the plane. And of course I was now in the middle of I don't know where, and no idea how I was going to retrace my steps. And at that point, they told me that I would have to follow them and pay for a new ticket and stay a couple of nights in Bolivia before I make my way to Mexico City. And I panicked. I could then at that point see my aeroplane on the tarmac on the other side of the glass from where the baggage reclaim area was, and I just ran to the glass, at which point 2 security guys accosted me, grabbed a wrist each and threw me into a lift, and they said they were taking me to where were they taking me? I actually didn't know. And so we get into this lift and the lift doors are closing, and my gut said to me, you actually don't know your fate if the lift doors close and where you're going to end up. And I just need to get back to that plane. It's literally just there. And if I can just get back to that plane, I can be on my way to Mexico City. So I, just as the doors were closing, my gut said, make a move, make a move, make a move. And I cut through the closing lift doors and ran around the baggage area, back up the escalators, and headed for the aeroplane, where the air hostess greeted me and said, "We've been waiting for you. Please, this way, take a seat. We need to head off now to Mexico City." And I thought, you know what? I'm so glad I listened to my gut instinct. Because imagine if I hadn't. The longer I stayed waiting to make a decision and not actually executing, and I'm not encouraging you to run away from security guys and believe it, I'm really, really not. But it just says to me that we get this message, we get this voice, and we have an impulse, and if we can act on it, something good might come out of it. So that's my message for today. Act on your gut instinct and follow that voice if you can find it, and don't worry too much about all the potential outcomes of the path that you're about to embark upon, because so long as you're making movement, things can happen and things will happen. And it's also not just about listening to our instincts, but also listening to our bodies as well. And that was the message that I got from those interviews earlier this month, which is to really pay attention to your body. It's like a sports person who races out to do sports and doesn't pay attention to the injuries that they've got, and they keep on pushing themselves, and those injuries just get worse. I've been there myself. I used to do the 100 hurdles, and I used to train with some great athletes, and I would come back after a period of time and push myself, and then I'd get an injury, but then I'd keep pushing myself through it because just didn't want to look like I couldn't do what I was there to do. So I was, there's a little bit of showing off, and there's a little bit of trying to keep up and be your best, especially when there's other people training with you. So yeah, it really is about listening to your body, listening to yourself, and paying attention. Meditation is a great way to be able to reconnect with that inner inner voice, but just for your physical ailments as well. If you're doing something and you're developing headaches or migraines, it could be possible. There could be a possibility that you're overextending yourself and finding yourself in a place where you are potentially burning out, or find yourself in a place where if you take it too far, you end up with something like chronic fatigue. I'm very familiar with it, and I've experienced it myself, so I can speak firsthand. And on that note, I want to say thank you for continuing to support the show. We've got great guests coming on over the coming weeks and months, and I hope that you enjoy the content. You're very welcome to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I look forward to connecting with you on the next show. Take care and unleash your inner